Well, it is the themes of those movies and those comics and that promote good messages
Mm-hmm.
that keep us liking them, that keep them relevant, you know? So it is kind of an honor to be able to put some of that out there side by side with the original stuff, you know?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside. Joining me via Zoom this week is Trey. He's the owner of Conspiracy Glassworks.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Good, yourself. First of all, thank you very, very much for taking time in your schedule to speak with us about your awesome glassware. And I really look forward to hearing this story about it. Now, normally we share a virtual beer. However, you informed me pre-show you are doing the No Sugar Challenge this month, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Got to get my summer bod going.
Yeah. And you are in Atlanta, so it is very nice out there. So you got to keep that summer bod going. I, however, do not partake in the No Sugar Challenge. So I'm enjoying from Maltstrom. It is Maltéhops #6. So Maltéhops is a local beer store here in my area in Verdun, Quebec. They're pretty awesome, and they're just celebrating their 6th year they're open. And I'm consuming the beer, since we're talking about glassware, out of Hop Fiction's Ales from the Crypt.
That's a good glass. I wish I had it.
Yeah, it's I got in early, thankfully. So I do a virtual toast. Toast. Ooh.
I'll toast my seltzer water.
There you go. Ooh. Oh, Rauch beer. Very nice. 6.1% ABV. It's aged in it's barrel aged. It's very tasty beer. Definitely check it out if you're in our area. So, Trey, what's the story? What got you into designing beer glasses, especially kind of like pop culture beer glasses?
Well, I had started in patches, actually. So I was in the kind of like the EDC community a little bit. And like a offshoot of that is like Velcro morale patches. And I started doing that. The market was kind of saturated before I got into it. And between working on the road like I was doing and trying to do that as a hobby, I wasn't able to keep up. I wasn't able to make any sort of profit on it. And not that it's all about profits, but like I have a little hobby. I spend a couple $100 on making some patches. I want to make a little bit of a return, and it just wasn't happening. And so when I was home, I was thrifting though, and I ran into some Star Trek glasses at a thrift shop, and there was like 6 of them. They were all the same. They said like 1991 on them, and I went on Facebook and looked up glassware groups, and the glassware groups were mainly like custom glasses. So I posted these up and asked a few people like what they think they were worth. A bunch of people said, I'll pay $20 for them, and for each one. And I was like, all right. So I sold a few of them. And I was like, all right, that was pretty cool. And then going through the groups and noticing the people that were doing the custom stuff. And back then it was like Hop Killers and Sippin' Proper and a couple other people, and Hop Fiction, of course. And I was like, dude, I could do the patch stuff, the design, but for glassware, it seems like an emerging market at this point in time. It didn't seem super saturated. So I did a Donkey Kong glass. I noticed at the time that the 8-bit stuff was emerging. So I did this Donkey Kong glass on a barrel, and it was wildly popular. And at the time too, I integrated a little patch.
Cool.
And so it sold out. I sold out 100 glasses, the first glass I dropped, and I was hooked ever since.
Very cool. Yeah, like I said, I love the concept, and there is, I believe it's 8-bit glasswares out there now too. From what I'm seeing, everybody kind of has their own like niche, so you guys really aren't competing with each other the way I see it. It's, yours is very, your more modern stuff is a lot of Star Wars and TMNT. I have a friend who's, I'm sure if you weren't sold out, he would have bought all your TMNT glasses already. It's pretty awesome what you're doing, and I love it. And it is like you said, it's the geeky stuff, and it's beer geeks, so it's kind of all coming together.
Yeah, and I was amazed at once I started doing this, the other collections of other things that people started showing me that they have. Like I release a Star Wars glass, and someone shows me their entire room full of Star Wars stuff. And the same with like almost everything that I've done. Like I've done some Dragon Ball Z stuff, and I've had guys show me like the Fort Knox of Dragon Ball Z figure collections that they also take part in. So it's really cool to be a part of people's collecting.
Yeah. And I mean, outside of obviously a few things that people are aware of, just generally the beer community when it comes to either apparel, I find, or beer makers or brewers or influencers, it's all like we're trying to do our best to support each other, which is very important. So
for sure. Yeah, it's really important to me to just have a clear line of communication with other makers. When I was doing patches, there was one guy who still now is at the top of the game that was very accessible to me for advice and stuff. And I try to do that for other people too. And generally it works out really well.
Very cool. I love hearing that. And it's a fantastic time to do this kind of stuff. And a lot more people have a lot more disposable income now. So you're hitting that right stride, I find. And just, I saw the announcement for your Baxter glass and it's like, oh, it's sold out. Come on. So
yeah. And that's the best case scenario. You know, I mean, I'm trying to get everybody the glass that they want. So with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, I am going to do like a reprint and second drop because it is kind of frustrating to run out of all the glasses that I got printed and have so many people like, hey man, I missed it. When are you going to reprint it?
Yeah.
And part of the business is, you know, that they're super limited, but you also want to be able to like give everybody a glass that they want.
Yeah, exactly. Make everybody happy and it looks great for you. But at the same time, you're like, this is also like, I mean, obviously it's not your full-time job. So there's only so much you can do.
It is my full-time job, actually.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
At the start of the pandemic, and 7 years before that, I was traveling around doing rope access construction, which is rappelling off of buildings and doing different construction tasks. And it had me going all over the place and all over the United States. And I really missed out on a lot of, you know, interaction with my kids and my wife and my family stuff. And when the opportunity came because of the pandemic to stay home for an extended period of time, I realized that I wanted to stay home for an extended period of time. And I just went full force into the designing of glasses. And it started producing enough returns to where I could float by, and I'm still floating by on just sales from glasses. And I'm very lucky. I don't think a lot of people get to do it that way. And it's a far less lucrative venture than what I was doing before, but it still affords me a better quality of life.
And it sounds a lot safer than rappelling down buildings, just making glassware and selling them by a website. So
definitely safer.
Fantastic. So Conspiracy Glassworks, what made you decide that? Why not like Trey's glass designs or anything of that motif?
Well, when I started the patches, it was Conspiracy Patchworks. And a lot of my earlier glasses, because I wasn't fully committed to dropping patches, still say Conspiracy Patchworks on them. And I had a little bit of a following from that. I chose it in the beginning because I wanted to focus on like some cryptid sort of stuff and conspiracy themes. I did like some Sasquatch patches, some like mermaid stuff and pyramids and eyes and all that cool stuff. And I wanted to carry that over into glassware. And I do have a conspiracy series of glasses, which I've had one glass out of that series completed so far. But I just kind of have always had like a skeptical mind and been into the conspiracy theory genre and wanted to produce art that reflected that.
Yeah, I do like the tat squatch that you have there, the tattooed Sasquatch patch. So that's
one on my patch map right here.
Yeah. It's basically me, that image. It's just not the tattoos yet.
Yeah, me too.
Everything else. So awesome.
6'5" and 250 pounds with a bunch of tattoos and a lot of hair.
Yeah. Now the logo, like obviously on the website, you have the pyramid eye, but I also noticed you have a hop that's screaming that looks like it's held in a zombie arm. Is that kind of like your other main logo, or
No, so that's a play on the Santa Cruz Screaming Hand.
okay.
That's like a classic skateboard design. I It was one of my earlier designs, and there's been so many adaptations of that classic logo that I searched for it. I looked for Santa Cruz related beer stuff, and I didn't see it. And it's something that was like really a part of my teenage years, skateboarding, and I wanted to make a design for it. And it just seemed appropriate that he was holding up a giant hop in his hand and the hop was screaming instead of the hand itself.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to obviously the designs, you're sticking with a lot of TMNT, X-Men, Star Wars. Have you got any kickback from Disney or any company saying like, "Hey, stop copyright infringement," or are you trying to like kind of like, "Hey, it's parody law. You can't really come after me for this"?
I haven't. It's kind of a gray area in the entire craft beer glass world. People say that there's no level of copyright infringement. So, I think my designs are different enough that they're not going to spend much time on me. But like I said, I could get an email any day from any of those organizations that say, "Hey, stop doing this." I think it's a huge online issue for those companies for sure. But I don't know if they spend a lot of time on people making a couple $100 on a glass. I don't know if it's worth it for them. But like I said, I could get an email any second.
Maybe if you're something like the Amazon of glassware, then you might be running into an issue. But
Well, like I said, they're so different from anything that they have produced as far as the visual style goes, that upon just looking at it, you wouldn't know. I think where people would kind of get in more trouble, and I'm guilty of this a little bit, is naming what you name the glasses and what you call them on your website, and what a crawler would run over your website and the keywords it would get. That would bring more attention than the design itself.
But it's good. It sounds like you haven't gotten too much kickback so far, which is great to see.
No, and I hope I never do. But I'm prepared for if I do. I could pull them off the site and I could create original content.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the rub with the whole thing, is original content just doesn't sell as good. I have some original content glasses that don't belong to any intellectual property owner, but they don't do as well as the nostalgia stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and nostalgia's hot right now, and with stuff like people buying up NFTs, and it's like the amount of money people have to spend right now. It's fantastic to have this business going for yourself. So it's good to see that you're obviously successful. There's not many that don't say sold out on your website. So
it's been a journey, man. It's not everything sold out initially. Like my first glass did, but the second glass did not.
But you're still going, and that's what matters. And it looks like on average, how many glass releases do you have, like per week, per month? Like how many times do you come up with a new glass?
I am so terrible about a schedule on stuff. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants a lot of the time. So there's times when I'll do 2 glasses a week for a month straight or something like that. I'm just on fire about the designs or something. With the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've kind of wanted to get that entire series out as quickly as possible. So I've been doing at least 1 or 2 a week.
Now, when it comes to picking the glass design, whether it be the Nordic, the tulip, or anything like that, what makes you decide this design with this glassware?
The art, basically the art.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff like the X-Men cards and stuff that I do is pretty large format artwork. There's whole scenes on some of the cards. Not everyone is just a person on a glass and a card like this one is.
Yeah.
And the can is perfect for displaying the art, the detail in the art, better than say, this little guy who has a print area of like 2.5 inches by 2 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also got another hop fiction since I'm a horror hound. I love horror movies. On my personal Instagram, I started doing a beer and horror pairing once a week, and so I
Nice.
even got the Killer Hops from Outer Space.
Yeah, very cool
And
glass.
it's got the almost cotton candy design of the victims in the back. It's like as soon as I see this kind of stuff, I asked him, and he's like, "Oh, check ID10T, check these guys for your horror stuff." I'm like, "Yep, I need it all now," and
Yeah.
looks like I got to do overtime this week to pay for them all. So, like I said, I love it, and it's I already have like 1,000 beer glasses, I'm sure, so it's just not helping add to the lessening of the amount of beer glasses I have. So you guys are just making me spend more money, which is great. I love supporting local in a sense, so it sucks for me because I don't have more than enough money to buy them all. So.
Yeah, I find myself collecting still too. So I've got like, I don't know how many that I haven't made. And I like to support new people into the hobby too. So I buy their glasses and I noticed that another maker buys one of my glasses. I go check him out. I buy his next release, So
Yeah.
from doing that over the years, I've
Yeah.
have quite a stash of glasses.
It's like you said, it's keeping love within the community. It's it's a circle of it's the
Absolutely.
circle of beer glass buying life when you think about it. So
Absolutely.
it's fantastic. I love hearing this kind of stuff. So it's great. Now you are obviously on the no sugar challenge, but you do obviously drink craft beer. Let's say you got somebody new coming into or not somebody new, but a friend that you finally convinced them, hey dude, get off the the MGD and let's try some craft beer. What are some of those transition beers that you'd give them?
So there's a place here in Atlanta called Scofflaw Brewing, and they're in all the grocery stores locally, so they have pretty good distribution. And it's not really a craft distribution company that they have doing it. So they're available in a wide range, like in a wide area. So I usually try and get them on the low alcohol volume scofflaw stuff because it's a little juicy, not that typical the reason why they don't drink IPAs if they're like an MGD or a Bud Light guy is, oh, it's too bitter, it tastes like crap. But if you kind of ease them in with the juicy stuff, and I'm glad hazies came around because it's a lot easier to get my friends to drink those than it is like a West Coast. But I usually start them on the 6% or so stuff from Scofflaw because it just hits that little sweet spot between a little bitter and a little juicy.
Yes. And then generally when you're going out, so let's say I come down to Atlanta, what are like the 5 places that I should have to go to that you're like, these are definitely the 3 to 5 places, 100% you have to hit in my area of Atlanta?
Okay, so Scofflaw would be one of them. It's not my favorite, but the environment that they have there is really cool. You get like kind of an Atlanta experience, and they have some really tasty beers. Another place, my favorite place, would probably be Wild Leap in LaGrange, Georgia. It's a little southwest of Atlanta. They are probably the most underrated brewery in the state for sure. Like they need some some countrywide distribution because they are producing stuff that's that good. If they got their name out there, they would be on the list with Other Half and Monkish and all those guys.
Wow.
It's from one batch to the next of the same beer. There's so little variance that that they have their process dialed. It's not like a haphazard thing that they're doing. Which some other breweries, you get, whatever the beer is, volume 1, and you drink it and it's delicious, and you get volume 2 and it's like this, it doesn't have that thing that the first one had, and they try to replicate it on volume 3 and they try to get it back and it's just still not there. It was an accidental thing. With Wild Leap, it is on point every time. It's a science for them.
Very cool.
Another place that's producing really good beer here in Atlanta is Pontoon Brewing. Not only that, but their can art is amazing. Like they have great can art. And I would lie if I said that can art isn't one of the first things I look at when picking beer.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
And I'm not shy about my snobbery for high alcohol content either. Like if it's below 7%, I'll more than likely get something else, something higher.
Nice.
So can art and 7%, that's Pontoon Brewing for sure.
Cool. Could you see yourself, like, in a sense, when it comes to like you mentioned can art, which is fantastic. I'm guilty of that. You know, those days I'll walk in in one of our local beer stores. It's like, I feel like lagers this week. So I'll grab like 5-6 lagers. I don't care about the design. And then it's like, what has cool can art this week? And we have a local place called Pixel. They're a contract brewery, but they focus on video game art. So they have the Sonic Citra. They have Save Peach, and it's a peach sour. And things like that. So it's pretty cool. And that's where I'm kind of guilty. But where I'm leading this question to is, would you collab with them to produce glassware if you could?
Absolutely. That's sort of my next step that I want to get into. I want to approach breweries, design glassware and can art for them. I mean, a lot of the other makers that I talk to are already doing this. I haven't made that step yet. But I do plan on it, and I would welcome any opportunity to do that.
That's great to hear. Do you homebrew at all?
I do not. I have had homebrew kits in the cart on various websites several times, but I have not got into it as of yet. I've helped a friend do it once or twice, but that's about it.
Could you see yourself collabing when it comes to like a beer plus the can like art release? You know, you go to Pontoon and say like, hey, I'd like you guys to make like a New England, but I'd like it to taste like this. And then here's my design for it. Would you love to do something like that?
Absolutely.
Very
yeah,
cool.
I would love to do that. I like, when I was traveling, I got to go to all the good breweries. I mean, I've been to Other Half and Monkish and Treehouse and all that stuff. And I loved learning what the different hops taste like, the combination. So I do have like a need to satisfy my scientific curiosity and brew a beer that's of my own design for sure. So that would be awesome.
So things are starting to open back up in the US and Canada. Things will probably start, I figure, opening worldwide over the next 6 to 8 months. Couple of beercations you'd love to go on. Now, I had these two caveats ever since things are started to reopen. One where I have a job and I only have so much extra money I could spend. That's the first beercation. And then the penultimate beercation where I won the Powerball. I have $500 million. I don't have to work for the rest of my life. I'm going somewhere for a month. Like, what are those two kind of normal beercation light and then beercation ultra?
Beercation light. There is a lot of good stuff in Florida, but I think I would have to go do the Vermont thing that everybody else does for sure. There's so many good beers coming out of that state. Maybe Maine too. I've heard a lot of good things about Maine beer. So that would be kind of the light trip, but I won the Powerball. I got $5 million or $500 million. I'm hitting every major like hype brewery in the United States for sure. Every like one day in New York, Other Half, one day in LA, hit Monkish again. Maybe I'll think a little better of them the next time I go. I'm not too big of a fan, but and then Tripping Animals down in Florida. I'd hit Tripping Animals. I don't know if you've had them, but amazing beers. I would hit all the hype breweries in a single week for sure.
We wouldn't stop. You'd be like beer plane.
Exactly. It's like beers and Red Bulls.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some of those places in Vermont, unless you have a helicopter or a very fast limo driver, landing at an airport, and then you're at least driving 2 hours to someplace.
500 million, I definitely have a helicopter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what's next for Conspiracy Glassworks? Where do you see going from here?
Like we were talking about, I want to get in the breweries and stuff for glasses and can art for sure. I want to I'm schooling myself every day on marketing and web development and stuff, and trying to create a brand out of what I've been doing and go into, apparel and get a message out there, like so many brands. I mean, you scroll Facebook for an hour, you're going to see ads for all these brands that are trying to put out positive messages. And I want to eventually get there.
Obviously, you do have male and female and mutant and the like character. It's great to see that kind of stuff, is that you're promoting a message like that. The perfect example is the X-Men movies is like, oh, they're mutants, disgusting, get them away. Where you're like, you have the mutants, you have the TMNT, you have Star Wars, who, well, yeah, that's just all one big family mess up in Star Wars. So
For sure.
It's good.
Well, it is the themes of those movies and those comics and that promote good messages, that keep us liking them, that keep them relevant, so it is kind of an honor to be able to put some of that out there side by side with the original stuff,
and that's I love hearing that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to what there is for the future for Conspiracy Glassworks. I did see there's a couple of glasses on sale, so I may have to go get that Die Hard one, being a Die Hard fan. Right. So it's definitely cool. I love the products, and I like that we can get you out there to my North American audience who'd love to get your stuff. And coming out with the second version or reprint, for sure, I could see you just remaining somewhat successful, like you said, as making a few $100s a month is all you really need right now. So
really, truly, yeah.
It's your passion. Obviously, I can hear it in your voice. So it's fantastic to talk to you about your stuff today.
Well, it's been an honor to talk with you and get the message out there. And you're obviously a positive person, so I support that as well.
I try to be. Beginning of the pandemic, I was a little doom and gloom, but it is what it is.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know, right? So we didn't know if it was going to kill everybody, like The Stand, or just a regular kind of pandemic. So
yeah, I mean, who didn't make preparations for it to get really, really bad?
Yeah, just look at all the people who bought all the toilet paper at all the Costco's. So, yeah. So we know next pandemic, folks, just get a bidet. That's it.
Yeah.
So, this has been fantastic. I got no other questions today. Let people know where they can find you.
So on my website, conspiracygw.com, Conspiracy Glassworks, Conspiracy Glassworks on Instagram. And if you want to have sort of the inside track, there's a Conspiracy Glassworks group on Facebook that I am in constant contact with.
Very cool. So all of that will be in the show notes as well for us. We're at All Beer Inside everywhere. If you'd like to follow me for my beer venturing, I'm at Killer Carpe Diem. I'm hoping the t-shirt store will be up and running by the end of the next few weeks. It is the summer, so there will be slowdown time. But it's always fun, and definitely come and check out some. If you're into awesome glassware, Conspiracy Glassworks is the place to check out for sure. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap.